Question number 9. The triangle XYZ is drawn such that XZ is 30, YZ is 23, they show you. Angle YXZ is 46 and XYZ is Y. Okay, I'm just going to make it a bit bigger. So it looks like trigonometry. So find angle Y. Now I want to take you back to the second book, part 2 in the y equals mx plus c, grade 10, 11. And I want you to take you first, because I want you, before I start, I just want to say, you have one complete, so it's like you have big X, the angle, and small x. And you have half of one. Okay, it's almost like you have half of this. So you have small y, okay, actually they call that also y, but doesn't matter. But you are looking for that one. Okay, so let's just go back to the textbook and see what formula are we going to use. So in the textbook, I'm taking you to trigonometry. That will be chapter 9 in the book. And I'm taking you first to page 468. Let's just see. I want to see 468 and then I'll go back. Okay, it's not that one. Sorry. Okay, this is question number 9. Okay, I just want to see if I will first take you to this one, to the summary now. Yes, I'm first going to take you to the summary. Yes, okay. The sine rule. I'm taking you to the sine rule. Now, the sine rule, and then I'll do the other one. Oh, yes, I know what's the other one. The sine rule, this is on page, can I just give you the page first? 467 in this part 2 book, and it's the sine rule. Now, it works like this, the sine rule. They will give you when to use the sine rule. If they give you one full set and half of a set, and you must find that side. Or they give you one full set, the angle, and opposite the angle side, and they give you half of it, and you must find A. Okay, and this is the one that we are going to use now, that method. Now, if you look at this method, now I'm first going to do it, and then I just want to show you something, but I'll clear it as soon as I come to it. So in triangle ABC, they give you all the information, just like I'm looking now. Now, in this case, I must find a side, okay? You must find an angle, okay? So it will not be this one. But can I just show you? So you're going to work with A, and you're going to work with B, but you're going to leave C. So, and the formula of the sine is just, you can either put the angles on top and the size at the bottom, or the size on top and the angles at the bottom. The one that the angles is always sin A, sin B, sin C, okay? But you only work with 2 of that sets. One is falling out. So, because I'm looking now, in this case, I'm looking for sin, okay, this is now a side. So I'm looking for a side. So I put the side and I just do the calculation, and then I cross multiply and I get the side. So, but that's not, you're not looking for a side. And that's why I'm going to go take you to the other one. I'm going to take you to the second one. That was just the formula. You can also use this formula, and this is on page 468 in part 2, and it's in trigonometry and bearings. You can also use the sine when you find an angle. Okay, now, again, you have one complete set and a half. Now, they usually say, if you want to find an angle, put that unknown on top. So, sin E over 38.3, sin 30 over 26, and then it's just cross multiply. But remember, you are looking for an angle. So, you must press shift, sin, and then you press that, and then you will get the angle, and the angle was 47.7. Now, I'm going to test, and maybe it's just because they didn't ask, but it was looking for me like this one could have 2 answers, the one in the question paper. But let's just quickly check that. So basically, how do I check? Due to this cast diagram, when you follow the sine rule, it can happen that you can draw that triangle on 2 methods. Now, how do you do the test? As soon as you get this angle, the 47.7. You put it in, okay? Then you see if there's space, and they call this the ambiguous case. You see if there's space for this angle. Now, how do you do that? You're going to find, okay, you have now this angle is 47.7. Now you're going to find this angle by, say, 180 minus 47 and can make it 44. Okay, so you get that angle. Now, how do I test? If I go and instead of the 47.7, I put that angle. That was now that angle. Now, I can test it by taking this 2, the original 30, plus this one, and I add it. Now, if I get a number less than 180, it means it's going to work. If it's more than 180, it bursts, and then there's no space for that angle. But if you're going to add that 2, if you say 132.6 and you add the 30, you get 162.6. So that means there is space for that angle. So if you say 180 minus that 160, you're going to get 17.4 degrees. So there is space for that angle. Okay, so please just take note of that there can. Usually, if they want you to find, they will say, find the obtuse angle. So I think if this one could have gone to obtuse, because they didn't specify obtuse, that's why they just accepted the acute, or in the memo, it's just the acute. Okay, but I will just check. I was checking it when I worked it out, and it looks like that, but I will check again now if I'm going to do it with you. This was on page 468 in book 2 or part 2. Let's go to that question and let's challenge it. Okay. Now, so it's y, and you can work with that y also. So if I'm going to, because it's y, the unknown, I'm going to say sin y, keep it y, over 30, because it's that part, okay, equals, now you must put this angle also on top, 46 degrees over, and that side 23. And then you get, okay, we cross multiply. So if I take this one times this, so it's 23 sin y, and that's 30 times sin 46 degree. Then I divide 23 and I divide 23. Now make sure your calculator is on degrees. Now my calculator, the Casio FX82MS, I just press most mode, 2 times the mode button. Then I press 1 and then it's on degrees. Okay, so now I'm first going, you can press everything in the calculator. So I'm going to say angle Y, I'm already going to add. So I press on my calculator 30 times sin 46, okay. Okay, I think before I put that angle, sorry, I'm just going to write the calculator display. So you are getting sin y, sorry, I don't want to skip. I could have, but I don't want. Multiply 4, so again, 30 multiply sin 46. It's better to press equal. Not necessary here due to the multiply, but better. So divide to get used to that, 23. So I get 0.938269,304. Don't approximate. Keep it on your calculator. Now to get that angle, press shift and then press sin and then equal. And I get y is equal and 1 decimal place. And now they said again, first write the full calculator display. So 76291,081. But y, if it's 1 decimal place, it's 69.8. Okay. Now, they just said find angle y. Now, according to the sketch, you could have said it's acute. But if, and it can happen, that they said find the obtuse, then they want the other picture. Now, let's see if it was possible to find that obtuse. Okay, so let's see if we can get the obtuse possibility here. So if they didn't ask for obtuse, but let's check, because they could have asked for obtuse. Take, according to the cast diagram, that is now your, okay, that's your cast. So that is 69.8. So if you go there, then this one would have been, okay, so let me just show you the obtuse. It would have been, I take the 180 and I subtract, because that is also 69.8. And I get, so 180 minus 69.8. And I get 110.2 degrees. Okay, how will that angle then look? It will not be acute, it will be obtuse. So it will be something, say, like this. Okay, so whereby this is still 46, let's just get the pen correct. This is still 46, but then it's 110.2. Now, let's see if it can work. So basically, if you are going to say, okay, I take 110.2 plus the 46, okay, and then I'm going to get 156.2. Now, can you see there is still space up to 180 for that angle to form? So that angle Z, that's Z, and this is X, and then this is Y. So to get then that angle Z, it would just be 180 minus that 46 minus the obtuse version, 110.2, and then it will be, so 180 minus 46 minus 110.2, and that will then be 23.8. So this one is definitely also having a possibility that it can go into obtuse. But I think because they didn't specify, they just wanted you to get this one. But please don't forget, maybe in a more difficult question in another year, they can ask for the obtuse option, and then don't forget what I explained to you here. So for now, I think you could have just left that out. Okay, according to the memo, they didn't want that. Okay, so this was just one mark for putting it correctly in the formula, substituting, and then and don't forget to write, oh, there's the degrees, but there's your degrees. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, let's do number B. They are asking a side, and they are asking you to find xy, this side. Okay. Now, you can follow the cosine rule, and I'll just mention it, but I think in this case, it's better to follow the sine rule. Okay, but it doesn't matter. Now, they're asking this one. So, very important, before I can go on, I have this angle, then I must find this angle also. Now, how do I find angle Z? So to find angle Z, I'm just going to take the 180, all the angles of a triangle add to 180. I subtract the 46, and I subtract the one you got now, 69.8. And I got 64.2. And it's very good to just put it in, that you see you have that. Okay, now I'm going to start. So again, I'm going to follow the sign as I said. So you have this one half, and don't forget you have this one full. Okay, so I want the side, and if I want the side, I put usually the side on top, although it doesn't matter. Okay, and I put this over the angle, which is sin 64.2, and that is equal to, and what is the side? 30 over, and don't forget you have that angle, no, I prefer, sorry, that you work with the given one. And what was the given one? The one was this one, where it's 23 over sin. You could have worked with the other one. Maybe it's good that I showed you, but I prefer that you work with the ones that they give you, the sides. Okay, the ones I marked in yellow. Okay, then you cross multiply. So you have xy times sin 46 equals 23 times sin 64.2. Then I divide sin 46. I divide sin 46. Okay, I press that on the calculator. So I press 23 multiply sin 64.2 equals, I prefer equal, divide, although it's not necessary, divide sin 46 equals. And don't forget that they said write the full calculator display. So xy is equal to 28.78657866. And if you approximate it to three significant figures, that 8 makes that 7 also an 8. So it's 28.8. And luckily they gave you the unit. Okay. I just mentioned it. You could have, if you had, and I'm just going to see if I can use another color to indicate that. Okay. You could have used the cosine rule also by saying xy squared is equal to 23 squared plus 30 squared minus 2 times 23 times 30 and then cos of 64.2, and then you take the square root. But as I said, I don't want to write both because I think that maybe then you do the same in the exam, so I don't want. Choose a method, and the one that you are feeling comfortable with. It also spares you time just doing one method. As soon as you struggle with this, you can draw a line through and you can do the cosine, but don't leave both options, especially if they are having different answers. Okay, that was the nice one. It is really trigonometry. Spend a little bit of time on that chapter. Go and do a few sums. It's actually score marks, and I think just maybe because the syllabus is very long and maybe you don't spend and you rush through the work. But remember, you have 2 years, so make use of that second year to go deeper into this book 2, part 2. Okay, and this is a nice one, the area of the triangle. Okay, so in the textbook, you will find this area rule on page 464. That's still chapter 9. And there is the area of a triangle. So the area of a triangle when the height is not given. Then you use also, it's like the sine, because you use sine in the formula, but it's having its own. So it's actually very easy. The information must be given like the cosine, meaning you must have two sides with an included angle. But in the formula, you use sin. Okay, so it's going to be half, and then the two sides sin the angle. Very, very easy. So please just know that formula. Otherwise, it's not so easy. So let's just go back to the question paper. Let's just find it here. And then we say the area of the triangle. So the area of triangle XYZ is a half, and you don't have to write, you can just directly copy because you get for this. You don't have to say XY and things like that. Okay, now this sketch is so full, and I'm just, for my video's sake, I'm just going to make it a bit, thin it a little bit up. So, and even this, that was just an extra part I showed you. Okay, so basically, if you look at this, you are having two sides, and unfortunately I cleaned this also, but this angle was, can you remember, 64.2. So I have two sides with the included angle, and that's what I'm going to use. So I'm going to say a half, and then I'm going to put the 30, I'm going to put the 23, and I'm going to say sin 64.2. Okay, and then I press everything on my calculator. Make sure your calculator is on degrees. So a half, or 0.5 times 30 times 23 times sin 64.2 equals, and I'm getting, and remember your full calculator displays first. Let's just quickly see. I just want to control something here. That's 28.8. I forgot to tell you the marks there. I'll do it now. And I just want to see it's something I press incorrect. So let's press it again. So it's 0.5 times 30 times 23 times sin 64.2. It's just my answer was different from what I got on my workout. Okay, so 310, now it's correct. 6099761. So just make sure you press it correct on your calculator. So they said first the full calculator display, and then you can go for free. Look at the one behind. So that's going to be 311, and that's the answer. Can I just show you where you will get your marks? So you will get your marks in this case for substituting, getting to that formula, okay, and then your final answer. And then again here, substituting correct in and your final answer. And really spend a little bit of time on trigonometry. Do as many as possible examples in the textbooks, other exercises, so that you can handle. It's really also, according to me, score marks. Question number 10. A circle of radius 9 centimeter is inscribed in a square as shown in the diagram. Okay, take note, only that part and that part is shaded. Although these 4 parts are equal, only 2 of them are shaded. But before I start there, I want to take you to the textbook. So question number 10, let's see where do we find something like that. So if you look in the textbook on page 523, part 2, book 2, and this is in mensuration, chapter 10. Now, this is a far more difficult example, but I just want you to take note of the principle. So the principle is here, it's 2 circles. So there's also the formula for the area of a circle, pi r squared. But as soon as I come to the shaded part, I will just take the outside, which is the big circle in this case, and I will just subtract the inside and just keep that in mind. Okay, and that's all I wanted. But this is a very good example because it's in terms of R, and for R it's not value. So very good level 3 question. Okay, but let's go back to the question paper. Okay, just going to move it down. So they always start nice and easy, and that helps because even if you're struggling a little bit in maths, then you can get at least those 2 marks. So you must know your basic formulas. What is the area of a circle? The area of a circle is pi r squared. The little square is on top because of that. You can remember it like this. What is the circumference? Then the 2 is on the ground. Then it's 2 pi r. Get a way to remember it. Memorize it. Okay, then you can work with pi, you can leave pi, or I see sometimes the students prefer to work. Doesn't matter, anyone's correct. What is the radius? Make sure it's the radius, not the diameter. Diameter will go through the circle, but this is half, so it's definitely the radius. So I'm just going to press it on my calculator. 3,142 times 9 times 9. That's the value that's in front of the question paper, otherwise the real pi. And if you were doing this one, I just want to say the area of a circle. Okay, let's just see if now why is my value incorrect. So 3.142 times 9 times 9. Okay, it seems to me I press incorrectly. So just make sure that you press it correct. Okay, I'm getting, and I'm just going to correct it here. I'm getting 254.502. If you were using the real pi, you would have get 254.4690049, but it doesn't matter. 3 significant figures, it's 254. You could have even said, okay, I'm just going to keep the pi, and I'm just going to put this 9 square area, and I would have get 81 pi, which is actually 100% correct. So they just said they were allowing, if you were between 254 and 255, they will gave you full marks. Okay, so 1 for this, 1 for substituting in your formula. Now, as I said, this is a score mark. This is coming from primary school. So what is the area of a square? It's side times side. But just remember, that's to the middle. So if you extend that to the side, then this side will be 18. And it's a square. So this one will also be 18. So that is just going to be 18 squared, and that's going to be 324. 324. And now the shaded, and that's what I said to you. If you're going to take the big area, the outside of the square, you subtract the circle, you're going to get this 4 parts. Do you see? But only 2 is shaded. So basically, I am going to subtract it, but I only want 2 of it. So I'm going to divide it by 2. So this 2 shaded is half. So I'm going to say the area of the shaded, and it's going to be the square. Write it nicely for you that you don't get. And now I don't want all, I just want the half of it. So I just divide it by 2. So I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to say, okay, the big one, 324, the square, subtract the 254, and I just divide it by 2. And if I'm doing it on my calculator, because I 324, you can work with the approximated. Minus 254, sorry. So it's 324 minus 254 equals, you just use your answer. So just important, you use this answer there, you use this answer there, you divide by 2. Because my answer is exact, that is why it's going to be 35. Okay, so meaning that all of them, this, if I was taking this one plus this one plus this one plus this one, all 4, I would have get 70, but it's just half. I divide by 2, I get 35. Okay, really not. And again, as I said, for this one, for one for your substitution, one for your answer. For this one, if they see you subtract, you divide by 2, you get your 45. Okay, let's do, the B part is on the other page. There, oh, and I see it's circle angles, chapter 8. In the mathematics textbook, part 1, last chapter. Take you now to the chapter. But before, if I see circles and I see angles, I love it that you know all. Before you start filling in anything, and it's actually very, very easy once there, I just want you to take you to the textbook. And okay, so in the textbook, you will find this summary at the end of the chapter, page 436. Now, it's for me important that you know all the circle angles and that you can run through it and search and first mark everything before you answer the questions. I saw it's then easier for people to get all the answers. So the first property, and I'm going to write it down at the end, is angle to the center. I'll just show you first. Angle to the center, angle to the circumference. And that center is twice the circumference. Then angle in a semicircle, the second one. Then angles in the same segment. And you must memorize that words because they can ask it like in this question. And then angles in opposite segments are supplementary. That's cyclic quadrilateral. Okay. And then you can go angle between a tangent, let me just get my pen, a tangent and a radius. And then this one is the sixth one. But if they draw 2 tangents, then that will be equal. Okay, so can I just show you again? I count and I'm going to show you. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I'm going to that question, I'm first going to go to the question. And I just want to show you. There was another example also. I'll show you to you at the end. First, I just want to go to the question. So if you look at this and you run through all, now it's first important that you read correctly. So because they say the point AB is on the circumference of the circle, center O, center. So O is the middle. The lines AD and BC are diameters. Very important, very, very important. That means this is a diameter and this is also a diameter. Okay, that's the center. And then the line CD and AC BD are chords of the circle. Line EDF is a tangent to the circle, and then they gave you one angle. Now, what I want you to emphasize is that if you already memorized that angles. And you don't have to write it in that order. I will just run through it in that order. If you say to yourself, and this is the way I want people, if you say, is there an angle to the center, angle to the circumference? Let's test that one. Oh, I see here. Angle to the center, angle to the circumference. Oh, but there's another one. Center, circumference. So I already know that this one is twice as big. So 48 times 2, I already know it's 96. Okay, so I was checking that one. Then the second one, I check if there's a diameter, and then it's the angle in a semicircle. Okay, so that both of them are diameters, I see. So that means that that angle is going to be 90. And if this, then this means this angle is also going to be 90. Okay, then number 3. Then angles in the same segment. So from the same points, you go there. Not to the, there you went to the center and circumference. There you go 2 times to the circumference. And that angles are equal. So that angle is then also 48. Just for the interesting, this one is also equal to this one because you work from A and B and you're going to can I just take that pen and not scratch? You're going there. Okay, doesn't matter. Then I go to the next one. So I'm running through it because I memorized it. Is there a cyclic quadrilateral? That means if 4 points is on this, the 4 points is on the circumference. There, 1, there, 2, 3, 4. But if there's not a line, so they're not making use of that. Then, this is the nice one. The fifth one is there a tangent and is there a radius? Because then it's 90. And it is there. There is your tangent. Can you see that? There is your tangent. There is your radius. And then this one, okay, this one is 90. And on this side, it's also 90. Okay. And then the last one is if there's 2 tangents, but there's not 2 tangents. But that's how I run through my mind, and I first just search for that. Okay, and I know the phrases. So now I can start the question. Now I say, angle CAD. Now where is CAD? I already have that, 48. And what did I use? It was this one. And what was the words? And it's very important that you memorize that. It's angles in the same segment, something like that, or another, you could have said angles subtended by the same arc. That both of them will be correct. So one for you and one for your reason, and make sure you memorize that little sentence. Then angle ACD. Now let's just see. ACD. Oh, we already have that one. We already worked it out. That was 90. And what that was referring to this one. Can you remember? Angle in a semicircle. So that's easy. Angle in a semicircle. And then the last one, angle ADF. So let's just see. ADF. That green. We already have that. It's also 90. What is the reason? Angle between a tangent and a radius of a circle is 90 degrees. Okay, so again, one for the correct 90, one for the reason, one for the angle, one for the reason. And again, it's 6 score marks. Just make sure you memorize that and that you do it like I, and I search for that. There was a nice example that I maybe just want to, I didn't use it because it's a bit more, I think this one was very basic, but if you go to number, this was question 10b, the first one. I just want to show you. If you there 4 to 8, and you run this You look at this example, and as I said, you follow that method. You search first for angles in the same segment. Is there angles in the same segment? No. And then you run through all 6 and you mark it. But please also don't forget that you know your basic geometry angles, like angles of a triangle add up to 180 and things like that. So page 4 to 8, if you want to practice it a little bit more.